All right, guys, we are on volume 3 of the omnibuses of Alien. And if you've watched some of my reviews so far, Alien 1 I thought was actually pretty solid and some really interesting ideas and cool stories that went a different direction than eventually the movie's going in. And then Alien Volume 2 had some really cool stories in the beginning and the bookend of the volume, but the middle was just a long slog, very long storyline that just wouldn't end and really took it down a notch. But what about Volume 4? Well, Volume 4 really consists of a lot of stuff I'm about to name, but it really contains the very late 80s, most of the 90s, and then actually kind of like late 2000s or at least to 2009. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just talk about what's inside this book. So I'm going to name them off, and it's a lot, so I'm just going to go kind of fast. So we have Alien Berserker storyline from 1995, issues 1 to 4, Alien Mondo Heat, 1996, Alien Lovesick, Alien Pig, Alien Special 1997, Aliens Havoc, issue 1 and 2, Aliens Purge 1997, Alien Alchemy 1997, issues 1 to 3, Alien Resurrection, thank God this was only 2 issues, Alien Kidnap, Alien Survival, Aliens Glass Corridor, Alien Stalker, Aliens Wrath. Okay, you guys are like, well, what are you even talking about? The point is, this is where this volume, this omnibus, really is its own downfall. There's no real big storylines here. The biggest ones are 4 issues, and there's only about 4 of them, and 2 of them are pretty good. I will admit that Berserker has that fun mid-90s feel to the Alien story, and it definitely is entertaining. That one is a kind of a fun little storyline. And if I'm going to name another one that actually really surprised me, it would actually be Alien Survival. That one actually threw me for a loop. It's kind of in your head, what happened, what didn't happen, what did the aliens do, what did this main character who lost his son do. It is actually pretty good and deals with PTSD pretty well. And I will say that the final storyline, which is from 2009, definitely feels like a huge step up from a lot of these other stories in this volume, because what it does smartly is give us characters that actually matter, and then when they are, faced with alien or xenomorphs, you're actually worried that they might die. So I actually did enjoy all those stories relatively well. I would say anywhere from a 3 to a 3.5, maybe a 4 if I'm being generous because of some of the art and the kills, but that's pretty much it. So what about the other about, I don't know, 550 pages in this book? Well, there's something. Really, the best way I can sum this up is it feels like a bunch of one-shots, maybe 2-issue stories that really are the epitome of the 90s. It's everything that I do not like in the 90s. And this isn't to say that 90s comics all suck. Obviously, there's some really great ones out there. But in the 90s, everything was extreme. That was just the style of comics. And this Alien series is actually no different. Everything feels like it's pushed to 11 in terms of skimpy clothing for women, big macho men just bulldozing through doors and fucking walls, attacking aliens, and just the art style in general is ugly to look at. But it's not just the art style. The actual storylines don't go anywhere a lot of times. A lot of times they feel like just rehashes of the previous Alien movies, not even trying new things. And the ones that do try new things, like I mentioned in Survival or even maybe Berserker, are fun, but they're far and few between. All the other fucking one-shots, two-shots, and some of them, like Alien Alchemy, oh my god, if it just couldn't end fast enough. So what I'm trying to say here is this is the worst collection of Aliens so far, which is a real shame because after the Volume 2 Aliens, I was actually looking forward to 3 to kind of bounce back, but I didn't really investigate too far. I didn't know the years of these Alien stories, and so about halfway through when I was starting to really lose my mind on some of these stories, I looked on the back and realized, hey, what years are these created? And then I realized a lot of them were made in the 1990s, not even early, but about mid to end, and it was just a bunch of them just thrown at you. And it was probably just thrown to the wall to see what stick and what people bought. And that is kind of fucked up. And Dark Horse, that's not cool. But I will say that there's a huge gap between most of these stories. So I'd say 92%. I'm just making up a fucking number here. Don't quote me. But I'm saying about 90% of these are from the 90s. And then you got 2009. So what happened in between there? Where the hell is from 2000 to 2008? Did something happen legally? Maybe you guys know better than I do. But it is interesting when 2009 comes along, how much better the story is, how much more focus is it, and how much more it seems like Dark Horse actually gave a shit to give Aliens a name again. And maybe it's because the movies weren't coming out much and then Prometheus came out, so they wanted to boost it up. I don't really know. But the fact is that most of these stories in here, even at the like best, are just good. And then there's a lot of pretty bad, and then there's some even just awful, like garbage, like you should not read this. Anyway, I don't like to be negative on my channel, but there's sometimes things that just are bad and they need to be pointed out, and this is bad. Now, this is really hard for me because I'm a huge Aliens fan. This is my favorite franchise. Aliens is my favorite movie of all time. So for me to say don't buy this is hard. I love Aliens, and I will read them again. I will probably even read this volume again. Just skip around more often than not. But is this worth buying? Absolutely not. If you are a mega Alien fan, or if you're a collector of the entire Alien franchise and you want all the comics, then yeah, pick this up because there's only one more volume after this, which will complete the entire Dark Horse original years for Aliens, which is really cool to just have and collect. But in terms of quality, whereas 2 had issues, especially in the middle, it did have a strong beginning and a strong ending. This does not have any of that. So saying that, this is pretty low on the totem pole, a 1.5 out of 5. This is pretty bad. But if you like my video, hit that like button. If you love me, hit the subscribe button. I always like some love. And of course, I will be back doing more omnibus reviews, more comic videos, more nerdy stuff. That's what my channel is all about. And I hope you guys stick around and enjoy. Hope you all had a happy holiday these past few weeks. And more is coming. Have a great day.